Financial independence means having the ability to sustain your lifestyle using income from your own personal resources. Now, what that looks like depends entirely on you. Some may need $2,000 or $3,000 a month. Others might require $5,000 or $10,000, and some may even aim for $100,000 a month. But no matter the amount, true financial freedom comes when your income is generated from assets and investments rather than relying on a paycheck. So how do you achieve it? If you begin at 15, you have 20 years between ages 15 and 35. And based on my experience and studies, 20 years is more than enough time to reach financial independence. If you haven't gotten there, chances are you're following the wrong plan. And the reality is, even the kindest, hardest working person can end up struggling if they're on the wrong path. Let me ask you a question. What if 10 years from now you found yourself in the exact same financial position you are in today? Same income, same struggles, same limitations. Would that excite you, or would that terrify you? See, when I was 25 years old, I had pennies in my pocket, creditors knocking on my door, and an empty bank account. I was working hard, but I was barely getting by. Then I met a mentor who changed my life. He said, "Jim, if you want to be wealthy, study wealth. If you want to be successful, study success." That one idea shifted everything for me. And today I want to share with you a 10-step formula that will take you from where you are to financial freedom. Not someday, not in theory, but in reality. Because wealth isn't an accident, it's a plan. And if you follow the right plan, the next 10 years can look completely different from the last 10. So let's get started. So the step one is, as I mentioned already, define what financial freedom means to you. For one person, that might mean $5,000 a month. For another, it could mean $50,000. The amount doesn't matter. What matters is clarity. If you don't know where you're going, you'll never get there. Set a clear target. And once you do, every decision about money will become easier. Step two, adopt the right mindset. Wealth starts in the mind. If you don't have the right philosophy about money, success will always feel out of reach. Some people believe wealth is a matter of luck, that only a few get to have it. But here's the truth. Wealth is predictable. It follows principles. And if you align with those principles, financial success becomes inevitable. I used to think that if I worked hard, money would follow, but I was wrong. I was working hard, yet I was still broke. Then I learned that wealth isn't about how hard you work. It's about how smart you work. Two people can work the same number of hours, but one earns 10 times more. Why? Because they've learned to increase their value. They've learned how money works. It all starts with changing the way you think. If you believe money is scarce, you'll always struggle to find it. But if you believe opportunities are everywhere, you'll start seeing them. Instead of saying, "I can't afford it," start asking, "How can I afford it?" That small shift changes everything. Because once your mindset changes, your financial future changes with it. Step three, live below your means and invest the difference. One of the biggest mistakes people make is spending everything they earn, and then some. They get a raise, and instead of saving or investing, they upgrade their car. They get a bonus, and instead of putting it to work, they take a vacation they can't afford. That's why so many hardworking people stay broke. They aren't managing money. They're just surviving paycheck to paycheck, no matter how much they make. I learned early on that if I wanted to be wealthy, I had to develop a simple habit, live below my means and invest the difference. That's the secret. Not complex, not glamorous, but powerful. If you earn $5,000 a month and spend $5,000 a month, you're going nowhere. But if you learn to live on $4,000 and invest $1,000 every month, your future starts to change. At first it seems small, but over time, that invested money grows, multiplies, and starts working for you. Wealthy people don't just work for money, they make money work for them. They don't waste dollars on things that lose value. They put their money into assets, investments, businesses, real estate, things that generate income. It's not about being cheap. It's about being smart. Every dollar you waste today is a dollar that could have built your future. I once asked a wealthy man how he got rich. He smiled and said, "I simply learned to spend less than I earned and invested the rest. And I did it long enough for it to make me wealthy." That's it. No magic, no lottery, just discipline and time. Because financial freedom doesn't come from how much you make. It comes from how much you keep and how well you use it. Step 4. Your income is directly tied to your value in the marketplace. Not your time, not your effort, your value. Two people can work the same 8 hours, but one makes 10 times more than the other. Why? Because they've developed skills that the marketplace rewards at a higher level. The key to earning more is not working harder. It's becoming more. I once asked a man what he earned, and he said, "I make $5 an hour." I told him, "That's not what you make. That's what you're worth to the marketplace." The marketplace doesn't pay for time. It pays for value. And if you want to make more, you have to increase your value. Develop better skills, gain more knowledge, become an expert. A doctor makes more than a janitor not because they work harder, but because they spent years developing a skill that the world is willing to pay for. The good news? You can change your value. You're not stuck. If you make $20 an hour today, you can learn a skill that makes you worth $50. If you earn $50, you can learn to be worth $100. Read books, take courses, develop expertise, become better, and the marketplace will reward you. Because money doesn't respond to effort alone, it responds to value. The more valuable you become, the more money you attract. Number 5, multiply your income streams. One of the biggest financial risks you can take is relying on a single source of income. If all your money comes from one paycheck, one job, or one business, then your entire financial future is hanging by a thread. The moment that paycheck stops, everything stops. That's a dangerous place to be. Wealthy people understand this, which is why they never depend on just one stream of income. They create multiple. Imagine a table with one leg. How stable would that be? The slightest push and it collapses. But what if that table had 4 or 5 legs? Suddenly it becomes solid, secure. That's how financial freedom works. If you build multiple streams of income, no single loss can shake you. If one dries up, the others keep flowing. I once met a man who made a great salary but was always stressed about money. I asked him, "What happens if your job disappears tomorrow?" He went silent. That's when he realized he had no backup plan. He was earning well, but living dangerously. Compare that to someone who has investments, rental income, a side business. If one source stops, the others keep going. The key is to start where you are. If you have a job, great, but don't stop there. Find ways to create additional income. Start a small business. Invest in assets that pay you. Develop skills that let you earn on the side. Maybe it's real estate, maybe it's an online business, maybe it's stocks. Find what works for you, because true wealth isn't about how much you make. It's about how many ways you've set up money to flow into your life. Number 6, master the art of investing. If you work for money your whole life, you'll always be limited by time. There are only so many hours in a day, and no matter how hard you work, you can never work enough hours to become truly wealthy. But if you learn how to make money work for you, everything changes. That's what investing is all about. Putting your money to work so that one day you no longer have to. Most people spend their lives earning and spending, never thinking about multiplying what they earn. They get a paycheck, pay their bills, and whatever's left they spend. But wealthy people do something different. They take a portion of every dollar they earn and put it into assets. Things that grow, things that pay them, things that make money while they sleep. I once asked a wealthy man, "What's the secret to financial freedom?" He smiled and said, It's simple. I stopped working for money and started making money work for me. He invested in real estate, stocks, businesses, anything that produced income. And over time, his investment started paying him more than his job ever could. Investing isn't complicated, but it does require discipline. Start small if you have to. Buy a few shares of a great company. Invest in real estate when the time is right. Put money into something that grows. But the key is to start. Every dollar you invest today is a seed planted for your future. Because if you don't learn to invest, you'll always have to work for money. But if you master the art of investing, one day money will work for you. Number 7, surround yourself with the right people. The people you spend time with shape your thinking, your habits, and ultimately your future. If you want to change your life, start by changing your circle. If you surround yourself with people who complain, make excuses, and blame circumstances, guess what? You'll start thinking and acting the same way. But if you spend time with people who talk about ideas, success, and possibilities, you'll start to see opportunities everywhere. I once heard a mentor say, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." That idea changed everything for me. I looked around and realized I was spending my time with people who had no ambition, no goals, no desire to grow. And guess what? My results reflected that. The moment I started learning from successful people, my mindset shifted and my financial situation followed. Look at wealthy people. They don't spend their time with people who drag them down. They seek out mentors, business leaders, investors, people who push them to think bigger. If you want to be financially free, start surrounding yourself with people who have already done it. Read their books, listen to their advice, attend their events. You don't even have to know them personally. Mentors don't always have to be in the same room as you. If you read a book from a millionaire, that's like sitting down with them and absorbing decades of wisdom in a few hours. Because the right people will challenge you, inspire you, and force you to grow. And when you grow, your income, your success, and your entire life will grow with you. Number 8, master the art of discipline. Success isn't a matter of chance, it's a matter of discipline. The small things you do every day determine where you end up in 5, 10, or 20 years. Some people wish for financial freedom, but wishing isn't enough. It takes consistent action, repeated over time, to turn dreams into reality. That's where discipline comes in. I once heard someone say, you can either suffer the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. That's the choice. Discipline is doing what you know you should do, even when you don't feel like it. It's saving when you'd rather spend, reading when you'd rather watch TV, working on your skills when others are out wasting time. At first, discipline feels like a burden, but over time it becomes your greatest asset. I remember when I first started learning about wealth. I was excited. I wrote down my goals, planned my future, but then life happened. Distractions, temptations, comfort. And that's where most people stop. They start strong, but lack the discipline to follow through. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't talent, it's consistency. Think of it like planting a tree. You don't plant a seed today and expect a full-grown tree tomorrow. You water it daily, give it sunlight, and protect it from weeds. Some days, you won't see progress. But keep going, and eventually that seed turns into something strong. Wealth works the same way. If you develop the discipline to stick to your plan, saving, investing, growing your skills, then over time, financial freedom becomes inevitable. Because success isn't about what you do once in a while, it's about what you do every single day. Number 9, take 100% responsibility for your finances. If you want to achieve financial freedom, the first step is to take full responsibility for your finances. No blaming the economy, no pointing fingers at the government, no waiting for someone else to fix your situation. The day you take 100% responsibility is the day your financial life begins to change. I used to meet people who complained about their financial situation, blaming their boss, their upbringing, or bad luck. But here's what I learned. As long as you blame something outside of yourself, you stay powerless. You can't change what you don't take ownership of. If your finances are a mess, the first thing you must say is, I did this, no one else. And if I created this problem, I can create the solution. That's a powerful shift. I remember when I was struggling financially, I was working hard but had little to show for it. One day I had to face the truth. I wasn't broke because of my job or the economy. I was broke because of my decisions. I wasn't managing my money well. I wasn't learning new skills. I wasn't investing in my future. The moment I took full responsibility, I started to see opportunities. I started learning, saving, investing, and everything changed. Wealthy people don't wait for financial security to be handed to them. They don't expect someone else to rescue them. They take charge. If they don't know how money works, they learn. If they make mistakes, they own up to them and adjust. If they lose money, they don't waste time complaining. They figure out how to make it back. Some people wait for the perfect conditions to take control. They say, I'll start saving when I earn more, or I'll invest when I have extra money. But waiting is just another form of procrastination. You have to start where you are with what you have. If you can't manage a small income, you won't manage a big one. Because financial success doesn't start with luck or circumstances. It starts with responsibility. And the moment you take full ownership of your financial future, you put yourself on the path to wealth. Step 10, and the last step, is to take massive action. Start now. The greatest enemy of success is not failure, it's inaction. Too many people spend their lives waiting for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect opportunity. But the truth is, there is no perfect time. If you wait until everything is just right, you'll wake up 10 years from now in the same place, wondering where all the time went. If you want financial freedom, you have to take massive action, and you have to start now. I once met a man who had been talking about starting a business for 5 years. Every time I saw him, he had a new excuse. I need more information. The economy isn't great right now. I'll start next year. But next year never came. Meanwhile, another man I knew started with less money, less knowledge, and fewer resources, but he took action. He made mistakes, learned along the way, adjusted, and eventually built something successful. The difference? One waited and one acted. Success doesn't come to those who wait, it comes to those who move. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need all the answers. You just need to take the first step. If you want to invest, start with what you have. If you want to build a business, start small. If you want to grow your income, start learning new skills today. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates results. Some people are afraid to start because they're afraid to fail. But failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. Every wealthy person you admire has failed more times than they can count. The difference is they didn't let failure stop them. They learned, adjusted, and kept going. Because the best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is now. We've talked about financial freedom, about changing your mindset, increasing your value, multiplying your income, and taking responsibility for your future. But here's the most important thing. None of this matters if you don't act. Knowledge is potential power, but applied knowledge is real power. You can read the best books, listen to the greatest mentors, and study every wealth-building principle, but if you don't put it into practice, nothing changes. The road to financial freedom isn't reserved for a select few. It's available to anyone willing to do the work. But it takes commitment. It takes consistency. It takes the willingness to keep going when results don't show up overnight. Most people will quit before they ever see success, not because they aren't capable, but because they aren't patient. They plant the seeds but never stay long enough to reap the harvest. If you want to change your financial future, decide today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Start where you are with what you have. Develop the discipline to follow through. Surround yourself with the right people. Invest in yourself and in assets that will pay you for a lifetime. Don't wait for the perfect moment, because the perfect moment doesn't exist. The only thing that matters is that you begin. So I leave you with this. Your financial future is in your hands, not in the hands of the economy, not in the hands of your employer, not in the hands of luck or circumstances. It's in your decisions, your habits, and your actions. The next 5, 10, or 20 years will pass whether you act or not. The only question is, when that time comes, will you be looking back with pride or with regret? The choice is yours.